The cry about Saccos is very loud. In many quarters, there are so many people who are talking about their failure to access their deposits or savings from their respective Saccos and many other conversations surrounding Saccos. I've taken my time, I've done a simple research, and out of my experience and knowledge, I've compiled the following about Sacco deposits. This is an understanding about Sacco deposits. To begin with, we define a Sacco. And a Sacco is a form of cooperative, or is a cooperative that would refer to a collection or a grouping of persons together for a common goal that is financial based to accumulate or source funds among themselves for on lending among themselves on the basis of those savings. Saccos, as an acronym, stands for Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies. And for that reason, by that full name of the acronym, then we get the principal activity or the main activity of Saccos to be primarily mobilization of savings or funds from the members for onward lending to the same community of members on the basis of security of the savings. That aside, Saccos are regulated. Saccos are governed by two specific statutes. That is the Cooperative Societies Act that is based and implemented by the Commissioner of Cooperative Developments on all Saccos by form and nature. Then we have the Sacco Societies Act that is implemented by another institution acronymed as SASRA, standing for Saccos Regulatory Authority. And that act, the Sacco Societies Act implemented by SASRA, is purely for prudential supervision of a special class of Saccos, not that special, by a group of Saccos that carry out a secondary type of business known as FOSA, and they are therefore given a title as deposit-taking Saccos. For that, let's look at what are deposits. And the deposits are voluntary contributions or legal contributions by members of a Sacco towards the funds or the collective funds of our society in adherence to the principle of economic participation of all members and equality and equity of members. Therefore, we have highlighted two things: that deposits are voluntary, yes, and they are also legally required. Why? Deposits, especially the minimum deposits that are required to be contributed per member, are based on that particular Sacco bylaws as ratified by the AGM and registered by the Commissioner of Cooperatives. So by so saying is that deposits, there is a type of deposit that will be legally required, and we have another type of deposit that will be voluntary. At that point, we introduce another element, that the deposits put in or contributed by members to their Sacco will either be with by the member, meaning that the member can request to withdraw, the member can request to be transferred, or non-withdrawable, meaning that a member cannot access so long as that member still exists as a member in the Sacco, meaning that they cannot be accessed unless one is withdrawing or ceasing from membership. At that point, we now get two types or two classes of deposits, and this is very important. And one or the two classes are, number one, the non-withdrawable deposits, and number two is withdrawable deposits. Let's look at the non-withdrawable deposits. The non-withdrawable deposits stand or represent a part of business of the Sacco that is not accessible by a member so long as that member exists as a member in the Sacco, or can only be accessed by a member on cessation or withdrawal from membership. What do we mean by accessed or accessed by a member? We refer to withdrawal, we refer to transfer, that they can be moved from one account to other, can be moved from one Sacco to another institution. So such class of deposits that are non-withdrawable are the ones that are legal. These are the deposits that every member must participate in paying or in contributing, and a certain minimum is put to be contributed by each member on a monthly basis as per the Sacco bylaw and on the strength of provision of the Sacco Society the Cooperative Societies Act, and as a normal standard of practice the world over by all Saccos. The non-withdrawable deposits, as the name suggests, will not be accessed by a member so long as that member exists in the Sacco, and more importantly, so long as those deposits have been used as security for a loan of that member or as a guarantee for loans of other members. What does that mean? Is that it means that this is the class of deposits that can be used or are used as collateral for member loans, or can be offered by a member as a guarantee to secure another member's loan. Therefore, again, is that once the deposits have been tied to a loan as security, whether by the member or as a guarantee to another member, even if this member chose to withdraw from the Sacco, then this member will be required to release these deposits from the security status or release the deposits from the loan, which means on request to withdraw as a member when you have a loan, then that loan becomes due on demand. You are supposed to clear the loan first, then withdraw and you get paid the deposit. But administratively, so long as the loan is within your deposits, that the loan is sufficiently fully covered by the loan, it can be netted off and any balance paid out to that member or accessed by the member. If the deposits have been tied to another member's loan as guarantee, then that member and the member who secured the loan are supposed to look for another member to offer guarantee in substitution of the guarantee that is tying the withdrawing member's deposits. And that is why, principally, a member is required to furnish the Sacco with a withdrawal notice of a period of not less than 60 days to facilitate all that. And that consequently means if the Sacco has good liquidity and the member furnishes a notice, the Sacco need not wait for the 60 days to process that member's withdrawal. Further, on the non-withdrawable deposits, this business that we have classified as a part that is unwithdrawable, when you combine it with the share capital, which is also legally required, and the benevolent fund contributions, together with the non-withdrawable deposits, we have cited the non-withdrawable deposits, which are commonly referred to as alpha deposits, legal deposits, to the share capital, which is another legal component, and the benevolent fund contributions. These three items normally form the BOSA function, or that part of business of the Sacco that is non-accessible, referred to as the BOSA function, or back office services, which is the first business that every Sacco engages in before they qualify for the second type of business that we shall look at, which is based on the other type of deposits. Therefore, a BOSA Sacco, Saccos that operate this type of business, they are structured in such a way that all their deposit accounts, all their savings accounts are limited or are not accessible by members unless you are withdrawing from the Sacco. This is a primary reason or a primary piece of information that majority of members are found themselves in conflict with. A person has joined a non-withdrawable deposit savings Sacco, and without that information, though they can access and their deposits or their savings anytime that they want. It's very important to understand the nature of business that is conducted or carried out by the Sacco before joining, so that at least you are getting into that business with that knowledge. Number two type of deposits is the withdrawable deposits. And this is that part of business of a Sacco that is accessible by members anytime, and therefore these deposits become demand deposits. And this means that these deposits are more or less like whatever we get in banks, the banking function. And therefore, by function, this is the kind of deposits that you access with the Saccos that have a banking hall, offering the quasi-banking activities. And the structure is that the nature of accounts or savings account offered in this function, they are all accessible by the member on request anytime. And this type of business run with withdrawable deposits. This function, we call it a BOSA function, or front office services function. So at that point now, we identify two types of functions or two types of businesses that are conducted by Saccos. One is non-withdrawable deposits or business function, and the second one is the withdrawable business function. And by names, or the technical names attached to this function, is one is BOSA and the second one is FOSA. It is important we note that the BOSA function is conducted by all Saccos, and that is the key function that is supervised by the Commissioner of Cooperative Development, and also the FOSA function. But essentially, the FOSA function which is a second function for only those Saccos that have met specific requirements and are approved by the regulator, who is SASRA, is prudentially supervised by SASRA under the provisions of the Sacco Societies Act, which was enacted in 2008 and later amended in 2010. And that's why you will find FOSA functions of Saccos started coming around 2011-2010. The FOSA function, those accounts are the ones that you have noted members holding ATMs, the Corp Link cards. So those two functions are the ones that give us the two types of Saccos that are commonly known by many as the deposit-taking Saccos. This classification is based on the withdrawable deposits, or the FOSA function, that part of business that is accessible anytime by members. That is what is giving us the first type of a Sacco, that is a deposit-taking Sacco. They commonly abbreviated DT Saccos. These are Saccos that are running the BOSA and the FOSA function. So they are running two functions or two types of businesses. Then we have the non-deposit taking Saccos, the ones that are running BOSA function alone. Very important, because you can find yourself either in a BOSA Sacco, which runs only the non-withdrawable business. Then we have the FOSA function and the BOSA function combined, or the two layers of business that are run by the deposit-taking Saccos. Very important. Then, why do we need the deposits? Why do we put deposits? Why do members put in deposits? Number one, it's legal. And by principle, the principle of economic participation by all members, this is to participate economically in the build-up of funds to the principal activity of lending. Then number two, it's a long-term saving plan. Very important. It's a long-term saving plan, because in this case I'm referring to the alpha deposit, the non-withdrawable function. That deposit is purely designed for long-term investing. But by function, Saccos generate thrift, or Saccos nurture saving culture among the members. And therefore, we also talk about a saving, a long-term saving plan, because the interests that are paid by Saccos are normally above the existing inflation rates. And therefore, as a good saving, long-term saving plan is that it cushions or it protects the member savings from loss of value. At that point also, we need to look at the security and protection of the member deposits, the prudential supervision by SASRA, and other layers, the bylaws, the two committees in the board, that is the Central Management Committee and the Supervisory Committee, and all those function to protect the members' deposits. So number three, we have as an investment, because Saccos, by function of their duties, the services that are offered by Saccos are financial services in nature, the savings and credit. And therefore, in essence, Saccos are financial intermediaries, bringing together savers or investors and borrowers. So by so doing, Saccos deposits offer us an investment opportunity. And remember, the return that is paid on this investment we are calling deposits, the interest rebates, if you look at the outlays, you research on the payouts that Saccos have made, these returns are way above majority of the money market funds. And therefore, they protect the cash value and the purchasing power of the members' money. And number 4 is for eligibility in access of affordable Sacco loans and to maintain the member active status. By principle or in law, Saccos are only supposed to offer their services to their members. And therefore, for you to be a member, you must register, you must pay your share capital, and you must also participate economically, like any other member, in contributing your deposits. Then number 2, to access Sacco loans, the first thing, even before looking at your ability to pay, is eligibility. And you only get eligible to access Sacco loans on account of your deposits. The number or the amount of loan that you can access is squarely dependent on the amount of deposits. So we put in our deposits in for eligibility to access their Sacco affordable loans and to maintain our active status. So that is an understanding about Sacco deposits that classifies Sacco into 2 streams. We have Saccos that are running a business that is not accessible by members, so unless they are withdrawing. Such Saccos by function, they are called BOSA Saccos. And we have said that all Saccos begin at that level. All Saccos are BOSA Saccos. But there are set financial requirements. There are set requirements that a Sacco must meet in order for it to be a little bit elevated, or in order for it to be approved and eligible to offer the second type of function or the second type of business that we have said is accessible by members at any time, and therefore demand deposits that we have called FOSA function. So not all Saccos are FOSAs, but all Saccos are BOSA. Only after a Sacco has met certain requirements and approved by the regulator, that is SASRA, then they can offer the second type of business, that is FOSA. So we FOSA Saccos, deposit-taking Saccos, offer 2 types of business: the withdrawable business and non-withdrawable business. And for that reason, now we have a good understanding about types of Saccos and what deposits mean and how they are used. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your watching. Welcome.